Penis.
Indeed. So, when we left off last, the party had just fought off an invasion of sorts in the night by a pair of presumably human or humanoid, um, probably cultists, accompanied by a number of these undead creatures that they've been finding around town. After killing all of the zombie things and capturing one of the humanoids and beating him to a bloody pulp, knocking him out, um, there had been discussions of finding another shelter to finish out their rest for the evening. We left off kind of still in the planning stages, so I guess I'll leave it up to you guys to determine what comes next.
We were heading towards the wall. We were heading towards the wall, weren't we?
That was one suggested idea.
Regardless of what we do, we need to avoid combat for a while.
Yeah, should climb to the top of the wall.
Are there any doors on the inside of the wall that, like, might lead to stairs to get up to the top of the wall?
There are a few towers along the wall, so presumably there would be some way of getting in.
Where is the nearest one close by?
Yeah, it's easy enough to tell from where you are that probably the closest one would be about 2 blocks away.
Alright, was it the same way we came from, like, when we crossed the wall?
Yeah, more or less, because you had spent the night in the same little shack where you ran into Miles your first night here. So yeah, you would be in the same general part of the city that you entered from at first.
Alright. First things first, I'm gonna go to every one of the refugees, and I would like to Arcana check them. Specifically looking for any, like, necklace or jewelry or anything. Because they were wearing those, like, it was like a collar, weren't they?
Yeah.
So, does anybody still have a collar on?
I'd say you don't even need to roll to look and see that no, there are not any collars on any of the refugees.
Okay.
Didn't you keep some after you took them off?
I'm also going to reach in my bag, pull out all but one of the collars, and I'm going to leave them in the house that we are currently in.
Okay.
The one that I have in my hand, can I Arcana check that?
Sure. I mean, you're not really picking anything up.
Okay. Well, I will, Lilith does not have her raven yet, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And the gap between, like, for the entrance, by the doors of the wall, how big is that gap? Like, how wide?
Are you talking about like the size of the door frames or like the road in front of it?
Yeah, basically
what's
like the entrance. Like, if the doors were to open up, how big of a gap would that be?
Probably about, like wide enough for a person to walk through comfortably.
Okay. Alright, I guess I'll scout. Maya and I will scout, 40 feet ahead. And then if we see any trouble, Maya can run back and say something.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So to clarify, the plan is kind of Everyone travels, but Togar and Maya go ahead about 40 feet.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
keeping watch, making sure there's no zombie things walking around.
I'll be in the very back since I'm the loudest. Give everyone a chance to be a little closer to escaping if something happens.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Cool. So, um, what are you guys doing about the detained cultist?
Trogdor. Actually, I'm gonna go put the collar on him.
Okay.
The one collar that I have left, and I'll say, Trogdor, can you carry him?
Yeah, I should be able to.
All right. If not, Maya and I probably could, but we got a bunch of prisoners, don't we? Or not? They're not prisoners. They're ex-prisoners.
Yeah.
Do any of them look like they are strapping young lads that could carry somebody?
Yeah, it's feasible.
All right. I'll ask. Just kind of say, hey, any of you guys want to help us carry this guy?
Yeah, and one of the guys.
Bungdo raises his hand.
I look at Bungdo and just kind of, like, almost like, wait, really? And I just kind of shake my head and look back at the guy.
Okay. So yeah, kind of scruffy looking, kind of young. I mean, like borderline middle age, but certainly looks like he's spent his life working.
Mid-30s.
Stands up. Yeah. He stands up and kind of cracks his knuckles and says, huh, "I can do it."
Okay. Cool. That would be appreciated. We're gonna get a few answers out of this jackass and then see where that takes him.
Okay.
And so, all right, that'll work. And I'll just kind of address the rest of the ex-prisoners and say, y'all are free to stay with us if you would like for the night. I would recommend getting the hell out of here at first light once the zombies go away. But take care on the road as well because there are zombies out there.
Okay. And yeah, they all seem pretty much on board with the idea of sticking with you guys at least through the night.
Okay. And I will outlay the plan to them that, we are going to head towards the wall and try to stay in one of the towers, as it's easier to defend.
All right.
So, and then if nobody has any objections, I guess we'll head out. We can head out and start walking.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So, everyone, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Ouch.
Hold on, I'm finding it.
4.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This might be a TPK.
Low 10.
Do I notice all of them being not stealthy at all?
I'm a little stealthy.
I have a passive perception of 18.
Yeah. I mean, I would say from a practical standpoint, noticing it isn't really going to do anything.
No.
It's not like I'm going to let you re-roll your stealth.
No, I know that, but if I notice it, I'm just going to turn around and cast Mage Hand and give them all like the wait finger, like just kind of wait
All right.
behind us.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just kind of whisper to Maya, "Let's go a little farther ahead."
Okay. I will go a little further ahead.
So,
All right. So yeah, as you're attempting, at least, to travel quietly through the dark streets of Drake's Landing, you can hear kind of from every direction, although considerably more from the center of town, the sound of footsteps and groaning, and gurgling of the undead as they just shamble about. So as you guys push forward, then, how far ahead are you going? Are you just sticking to 40, or are you going further than that?
I would say let's get 50, and then can they still see my mage hand? Like, can I make it visible so that they can see it? It'd be 20 feet away.
Yeah, I'd say that's feasible.
All right, I will get, just because I got 30 feet, so I want to be 50 feet away from them, and I will motion with mage hand to move forward and just have it kind of follow 30 feet at a distance behind us.
Okay. Okay.
And just kind of anytime we see encounter a zombie or anything like that, I will give them like the wait finger, and then once it's clear, I'll motion for them to come forward.
Okay. So, as you carefully proceed toward the wall, there are a few of the undead still walking around here. For the most part, though, I'd say you're able to kind of time everything so that, maybe even if Maya slips a little bit, you kind of help, like tuck her off to one side or whatever, as you guys are forging ahead. There are certainly some close calls.
Yes.
But you seem to have caught a lucky break here in that there are so few of them that there just aren't enough to see you as you're making your way to the wall. So
I will say, if need be, I can throw my rock that I have that's in my belt of returning. I can throw that, like, kind of as a distraction to lure a zombie away.
Yeah. I'd say maybe you have to do that once.
Okay.
But, yeah, you are able to make it there. So you're all standing now at the base of the exterior wall of Drake's Landing. Kind of at the foot of this, looks to be a guard turret or something to that effect. What's the plan from here?
Is there a door nearby?
There is. There is a heavy-looking metal door that stands about 8 feet tall, kind of arched.
Fucking perfect. Can I check it for traps and for being locked?
Sure. Go ahead and, let's see. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. Okay. It does not seem to be trapped. And it is locked.
Alright. I'm going to give everybody the wait finger and then have my mage hand kind of float up, and I'm going to try to pick it with mage hand.
Okay. So give me a sleight of hand check. Alright, and pretty much effortlessly, you just, produce the thieves' tools and pick your way through within a matter of seconds.
Alright, and so I will float it, hand the thieves' tools back to myself and float the hand back over invisibly until it gets close to them, make it visible again, and then signal for them to move on.
Okay.
And I will take a step inside and see what I see, because Maya can't see shit because she is a human.
There is that. Okay.
I still try to see.
Alright, so as you step through, there is just a little bit of pale moonlight shining in through a couple of windows up toward the top of this tower. but it's still pretty difficult to see in here. Togar, with your dark vision, you can see that this place seems to have been not only exited in a hurry, but probably returned to and kind of tossed for things that might be useful. There are weapon racks and armor stands and everything kind of befitting a small armory here, but not a scrap of useful equipment to be found. The racks themselves are tipped over, some of them splintered. Same goes for most of the furniture about, chairs overturned, tables kind of shoved up against a wall. But no signs of any current occupants.
Alright, I will just kind of grab Maya's, arm/hand gently and kind of not really drag her into the room, but, kind of put her in the room so that she doesn't trip over anything.
Okay.
And then I will, as soon as I drag her over, I will walk back over to the door and motion with Mage Hand for one person to come. And I'll do the same thing for anybody who doesn't have dark vision. So I will help them get into the room without tripping or, falling on anything.
I assume Bungdo can get in by himself.
Yeah, if you have dark vision, you can negotiate this, no problem.
I'm just saying one at a time, having people go so I can keep track and make sure that we're not being seen.
Okay.
Can I tell if there's stairs that go up from here?
Yeah, it takes your eyes a few minutes to adjust, but that works because Togar is still kind of ushering people in. But you are able to make out kind of on the far right the beginnings of a spiral staircase that you can see makes its way all the way up the tower to a landing that looks to be about the height of the top of the wall.
Okay.
So, as Togar finishes letting everyone in, what's the plan?
I will, since Trogdor is probably following up, at the end, I'll pull my rock out of my belt and hand it to him and say, "Can you light this up?"
Yeah.
And I'll motion for him to get in, and I'll shut the door, and I'll say, "Okay, light it up, Trogdor."
Gas light on it.
Okay.
So
So-
we have light.
Yeah,
Relock
now you
that
have
door.
light. Okay, so yeah, Trogdor closes and locks the door behind you.
Alright.
Cool, so now you can all kind of see the scene I described, complete with the stairs and everything.
Yeah,
I
I'll
will
point out the
go-
stairs.
Oh, okay.
I'll stay down here by the door.
Well, I'll actually say, "Hey, Trogdor, come help me with this," and I'll go over to one of the tables and say, "Help me flip this back over." And so, or if there's a table upended or anything like that, have him help me flip it. And I'll tell the one guy, whoever has the cultist, I'll say, "Put him on the table, and let's tie his arms, tie one arm to each leg of the table and one leg to each leg of the table, so that he is
Okay.
not able to move."
Gotcha.
He's gagged, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It doesn't have a blindfold on too.
Yes.
Just made it a 20 cloth.
Yeah, I would say that's certainly feasible, even if you didn't spell it out. You could easily have done it. It's not like I brought something into play that would say otherwise. So, yeah, you're good. Alright, so, yeah, over the next couple minutes, you take the cultist and tie him up as best you can. He's still down for the count right now, but when he comes to, you think he'll be pretty well secured.
But he is stable still, right?
Yeah, he's not bleeding out or anything. I mean, I know you had said that you intentionally, basically shot to subdue rather than kill. So.
Yes. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Once that's done, I will just kind of direct the other people to, flip any furniture back over, make yourself comfortable, make this a place to stay for the night.
We should take the empty armor racks and stick them in front of the door and just kind of barricade ourselves in.
I'm gonna lock the door, actually. I will like.
Trogdor already did.
Oh, did you? Okay.
It would, I mean, being more secure won't hurt.
Okay.
How
Yeah.
big are these armor racks? How much do they weigh?
They would probably weigh somewhere in the vicinity of, like, give it about 30 pounds, something like that.
Oh, I'll take as many as I can find that are empty and just stick them in front of the door.
Okay.
I'll take the
All right,
rock
so-
and just set it in the center of the room. So
Cool.
that we have light centered.
We should probably make sure there's nothing. We may look at what at the top of these stairs.
You want me to come
There's
with
a-
you?
Door can lock. Well, I can't see very well up there.
All right, I'll go with her.
Okay. So yeah, you make your way up the full length of the spiral staircase and come to
I'll
a
just kind of run my hand along it because it's a spiral. So
yeah. All right. And yeah, you come up to a pretty bare second floor of this tower. And part of it's like walled off in the sense that like not even the full area of the tower is accessible at this level. But there is another similar metal door to the one that you passed through, the bottom. It too is closed at this point, and you can see out the windows a kind of dull glow of moonlight through a still kind of cloudy, overcast sky.
okay. Does the staircase keep going up?
No, it seems like there are just these two levels.
Okay. So it doesn't go out onto the ramparts at all, or
Well, there is a door that seems to be about the same height as the top of the wall.
oh, okay, through the door. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I check the door? Is the door locked?
You take a look, and
If not, I will aid her in this.
yeah, this one seems to be locked.
I turn towards Togar and ask him if he can unlock it.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. At this point, you see my mage hand is like, just like the mage hand from not the mage hand, the hand from Adam's family.
Thing.
Yes, thing. It is just kind of like grabbed onto my shoulder and is just kind of holding on my shoulder. Basically, like I have
Okay.
a mage hand on my shoulder, so it'll just float off my shoulder and go over. And I would like to lock the door with mage hand.
Unlock.
Or unlock, rather. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, and kind of the same deal. It's relatively easy, even though this is probably meant to be a pretty secure lock. With your smithing background and such, you've got a good kind of sense for some of the finer points of even mechanical things, even though you were more of an armor smith. But yeah, quick, easy. It just clicks open, or clicks unlocked, I should say. And yeah, what's next?
I want to sneakily peek out of the door. What can I see?
Go ahead and make a perception check with disadvantage.
What do you
Okay.
see?
Well, from the kind of reflection of the little dusting of snow that is still present atop the wall, you can see that there doesn't seem to be anyone immediately around, at least up at this level. You can still see and occasionally hear the undead walking around, both inside and outside the walls. And beyond that, that's, yeah, kind of all there is.
Is this kind of close to where we came up?
Yeah, it's very close to where you came up.
All right, I'll say, Maya, let me squeeze through here. I'm gonna go pull the rope up.
Yeah, I let him.
So I'll go find the rope and just kind of pull the rope up so that it's not hanging down.
All right. Cool. So you do that.
I'm leaving it tied there just in case we need to escape, but I am pulling it up.
Okay.
And I'll coil it in like a neat little pile just right at the edge of where it's tied, essentially. So we can just kind of grab it and throw it off the edge and slide down it if we need to.
Cool.
And then I'll sneak back over to Maya and say, okay, good. I'll walk back in.
Okay, well, it looks like should be safe from this front, so we can probably return.
Right, close it, and I guess we'll lock it back up.
Okay.
So is that on another sleight of hand, or is that just...
No, it's just locking a door. It's easy.
Okay.
Okay. So, anything else before you guys turn in for the night? I mean, is somebody... Well, I guess go ahead and tell me what you're going to do.
You said there's a second floor, right?
Yeah, it's a little smaller in terms of floor space than the bottom one, but there's some space up there.
Is there any furniture?
No.
Is there anything?
A couple of moldy, partially broken open crates.
Okay, but I mean, I can look in there and see that there's nothing there, there's nobody there, there's no...
Yeah, no, it's easy enough to just peer inside, and yeah, there's nothing there.
Okay. Is there a door to this room? Or, like, is it a room, or is it just, like, a landing and then into a room?
Yeah, it's more of a landing.
Okay. I'll say, alright, yeah, let's go down and join the others. And I'll kind of grab Maya's hand and guide her so that she can actually, like, make it down the stairs.
I can just follow the wall. I mean, it's a circle.
Okay. Well, I offer my hand to guide her, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So as the group is kind of reunited, what's next?
Well, we need to rest some.
Let's see, well, I'm pretty good. I can stay up for a few hours at least, just to keep watch.
Bear in mind, from a game rules perspective, you've got, well, you had your long rest interrupted, but I would say this is within an hour, so you could kind of get back into the swing of that.
Okay.
Togar has not taken a watch, so he could keep watch for up to 2 hours. Or just stay up for 2 hours, doing something not strenuous.
I don't think anyone's taken a watch.
It was
Yeah,
just
not
her.
not besides the steed and the familiar, which is now no longer with you.
Double dead.
Neither of which are.
Alright, yeah, I'll stay up, and then I look towards Bungdo and say, hey Bungdo, since you can see in the dark, you want me to wake you up?
Sure. I'll take second watch, I suppose.
Okay. And then, if need be, I guess, I look over to Lilith, and I'll say, how about you, Lilith? Can you stay up? And...
Yeah, and she seems open enough to the idea.
Okay.
But it sounds like Togar wants to take first watch.
Yeah, I'll just stay
Okay.
up and pull out my gun and just kind of wipe it off, polish it, that kind of stuff. Keeping watch, though.
All right. So, yeah, in that case, how are you keeping watch? You like hanging out by like a window or something and just kind of.
Yeah, if there's a window nearby, yeah, I'm just kind of, I'll like drag a table or a chair or whatever's around and drag it over to
Yeah.
that and just kind of sit up on it and just kind of sit there absentmindedly, kind of polishing my gun while I'm looking out the window.
All right. Probably the most suitable way of doing that, just to give you kind of a picture of what's going on here, is since the windows are up on like near the landing, you'd probably want to bring like a wooden chair up there and just kind of sit and
Yeah.
keep an eye out from there. So okay, cool. Go ahead and actually I can roll a perception check for you.
Okay. Shouldn't
I
be too
want-
bad.
Prop myself, like sit down and prop myself against the wall near the cultist that's tied up.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go to sleep.
All right.
Just there, just in case.
Fair enough. Cool. Anything else before we kind of skip forward a little bit?
Not for me.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
I already tried to attune to I tried to, took a short rest with the wicked-looking dagger, right?
No, you didn't.
Can I do that while keeping watch? Just kind of sit there and kind of I guess not concentrate on the dagger, but like I guess check it.
Well, I mean, to attune to something, you really do kind of need to be focused in on it.
Okay, I'll just kind of sit there then, and I'll just sit there and polish the gun then. That works.
Okay. All right. So, everyone kind of tucks in for part 2 of the long rest. And, yeah, you get another hour or so of sleep before, I would say, Trogdor is woken up, and Togar you hear downstairs.
I will hop up and head downstairs. And I assume the prisoner is making the noise.
Yeah, he's like rocking back and forth, trying to free his limbs, and
All right, I'll cast Mage Hand and slap it over his mouth.
okay, he's now double gagged.
Yep. And like I will just try to catch his eye from the stairwell, and just as soon as he catches my eye, I'll just put my finger to my lips and shh. Don't say a word. Don't make noise. And you might just live.
He narrows his eyes as you say that to him, staring at you, and from under the now dual layer of muffling, you just hear.
I want to smack my mace on top of his head. Not with the hammer part, but like the bottom of the... where I hang onto it. Like the handle. I want to knock him out.
Okay.
He's clearly up to no good with that laugh.
Can I see that? Can I see Trogdor like reaching up to knock this guy out?
I would say you can definitely see it, but if you're trying to intervene, I'd probably ask you both to roll initiative.
I'm not going to intervene. I'm just, as soon as I see Trogdor lifting up to smack him with the hilt, I'm just gonna kind of look at him, shrug, and go, "Huh, I fucking warned ya." And then boom. Yep.
If you're seeing it from his perspective, you just see that the butt of the mace just thump right down into the camera.
I warned him.
All right.
I put it away and go back to sleep.
Okay.
You see the mage hand lift off of his face, come down in front of you, Trogdor, and give you a thumbs up, and then it'll just fade. And I'll go head back up and continue watching.
Okay. So, for people who are keeping track, you're basically now 6 hours through your long rest.
Okay.
Okay. So, let's see here.
That wouldn't count as strenuous activity, is it? Just casting Mage Hand?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So, another hour goes by, and Togar, you can hear a rustling sound from downstairs. Trogdor's still asleep, kind of snoring next to the table. But you hear something going on down there.
I'll go down and check it out again.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. So just as you kind of come to within visual range of the prisoner, you see him kind of like take notice of you at the last second and try to like pretend like he wasn't doing anything, but he was clearly trying to like fiddle with his binds.
Am I 30 feet away from Trogdor? Or within
Yeah.
30 feet?
Sure.
I will summon Mage Hand and poke Trogdor hard, and put the Mage Hand in front of him and point up to the table.
Okay.
I will get up. Is the guy still moving around a little bit?
No. He's like, playing it cool. Like he's just, oh yeah, no, I wasn't doing anything.
Where's this blindfold at?
Good question.
I'll come down this time, and I'll say, "Damn it, why don't you just stop being such trouble?" And I'll walk over to him.
Am I awakened up by this?
Well, I guess the question is, how loud is Togar saying the things he's saying?
I'm kind of like saying it a little under my breath, a little loud, but I would say, what's your passive?
16.
Yeah, you heard it.
Well, there are rules for that, but
Sorry.
but yeah, I would allow it.
Sorry. I just if it was like, 12 or 10 or something, it wouldn't have been that loud. But I'm walking as I'm saying this. Kind of like a pissed off parent chasing after their kid, like, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
Okay, so I wake up and hear this. Can I, rifle through my herbalism kit and try and find, like, something that'll just put him to sleep?
Yeah. Go ahead and what did we call that? A wisdom-based check?
I mean, I can click it as a tool. I have it under wisdom.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we do have to choose the modifier for it, though. Yeah, we could go wisdom with that.
Should I do wisdom or herbalism kit?
What you have to do is you click the herbalism kit, but remember we had to choose a skill that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it's wisdom.
right. So do that. Okay. Yeah, it's not hard to whip something up really quick and sedate the prisoner.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Like, well, he should be quiet now. And I'll go back to sleep.
I'll knock him on the head just to make sure.
All right. Cool.
Is it nearing my time to wake Bungdo up anyway?
It's right about there, and you think probably with another hour of watching from anybody, you would all basically be able to finish your rest.
All right, I'll kind of. You know what? I'll think about it, and I'm not even gonna bother Bungdo. I'm gonna go over and kind of nudge Lilith awake and say, "Hey, Lilith, I didn't want to bug Bungdo. Can you keep watch for about another hour? I'm gonna try to take a quick power nap."
Yeah, and she was just kind of sitting there, in her trance state anyway. So it's easy enough for her to kind of snap out of it and head up.
Oh.
And yeah.
I will say, I will warn her. I'll say the prisoner has been kind of a bit of a dick. He keeps trying to fiddle with his bindings, so just keep an ear out. Make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. And just before I'll go sleep, I'm gonna go check his bindings and make sure they're tight, real tight.
Okay.
And I'm gonna actually
Gotcha.
sleep under the table. Just kind of crawl under the table and lay back and sleep directly under the table.
Okay.
I want to give you my 50 feet of hempen rope from my explorer's back and tell you to tie it around his chest to the table.
Alright, I'll do that. Wrap it around his chest, and I'm actually going to, around his arm, I'm going to tie a single loop, drape it down, and tie it around my wrist, so that it's kind of tight, so if he starts wiggling, I'll feel it.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, you do all of that. This guy is now bound like 6 different ways.
Yep.
And, yeah, you kind of lay down and try and catch another hour or so of sleep, which you do uneventfully. And you even wake up to a peaceful morning of no struggling prisoner. I would seem he's finally just passed out for real. And, yeah. So as you all kind of come to, I would say around the same time. I mean, you know when you need to get up approximately. You can see a little bit of kind of muted, diffused dawn daylight coming in through the window. What are you doing?
We get the benefits of a long rest.
You do.
Alright, I'm getting all my spells back.
If we need to interrogate that guy, I have a spell that can help.
I stretch, and I kind of like pull his arm when I stretch because I forgot that he's tied to me. And oh shit! I'll untie it. Pry him up from under the table.
Does long rest recover HP, or do we have to use the hit die for it?
Nope.
It does recover HP.
Sweet.
You also get half your hit dice.
Yeah.
Half of your maximum hit dice back.
Nice.
Pull everything.
Alright, I'll go up and kind of say, just go up to Lilith and say, "Hey Lilith, see anything or no? Everything good?"
Yeah, she tells you she hasn't seen anything, well, weirder than zombies walking around town.
Alright, you want to keep watching out for a little bit longer, so we're gonna try to interrogate this jackass downstairs and see what he knows.
Yeah, she's certainly open to it.
Alright, just, if you see anything strange happening, just let us know. And then I'll head back down and kind of... Trogdor's up by this point, right?
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say everybody's kind of coming to.
I want to rifle through my alchemist supplies and find an acid that will kind of give this guy a sore throat so he can't shout.
Damn.
Ooh. I mean, I was just
Okay.
gonna sit on his chest and, like, choke him so that he
Fuck.
can't yell. Like, put my hand on his throat with enough pressure to where he can't yell.
I also have a poisoner's kit, so I figure in between the two I should be able to find something.
That works
Yeah, that's
too.
fair. I'm gonna go ahead and make that roll just in case something goes horribly wrong.
Okay.
Something goes horribly wrong. He dies. An alien bursts out of his chest.
So yeah, kind of between the two kits, you're able to synthesize something that you think is probably about on par with like stomach acid.
Okay. We'll try it. So yeah, I'll untie his gag and pour it down his throat.
Okay. So, first of all, as soon as the gag comes off, he's like, "The King of Worms will have you all!" And then you start pouring the stuff down his throat.
I just look at him with just this flat face and say, "Choke on that, bitch."
And then there is this horrendous scream as you can hear bubbling and hissing as soon as this stuff makes contact with the back of his throat. It's safe now to tell Becca that she rolled a 6 total.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's gonna die.
And before long, you see the white foaming bubbles begin to turn red.
I want to lay on hands. This guy.
I'll say, Trogdor, flip the table up so he's not laying on his back. So he's like basically hanging like crucified style, just on the table, but so that he's not laying down anymore.
All right, I'll do that. Can I roll like a strength check or something?
I would say you could do it, but bear in mind this whole time he's just fucking screaming bloody murder.
Mage hand on his mouth.
I mean, I feel like as soon as he started screaming, I would have gagged him again.
Okay, so now there's just acid trapped in his throat, melting it.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I want to lay on hands to heal him. Just enough to where he's not dying.
God, we're worse than they are. We're literally torturing this
Rifle,
guy.
Rifle through my herbalism kit to see if I can find something that would fix my mistake.
Something that can regrow vocal cords.
Just something to counteract the acid. Like an anti-venom.
Something basic.
Yeah, something basic.
I mean,
Quick,
if
get
he's
him a white
screaming,
girl.
he still is-
Get him a pumpkin spice latte.
Yes.
Just searching for a pumpkin spice latte. It's like, no, that's right. No.
I can just imagine Maya like reaches in the bag of holding and pulls out a pumpkin spice latte. Give him this, quick!
Better yet, pour it into this Ugg and then down his throat.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Yeah, and you believe again. You believe that you've figured out a good mixture of stuff that will at least neutralize what hasn't already, chewed away part of his throat.
Okay. I will give it to him. Slightly more cautiously.
Okay. The thrashing and screaming as he is fighting you off, trying to not have whatever the fuck else you're about to put in his mouth.
Can I assist with Mage Hand? Like trying to hold his head still?
Sure. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I would say you do manage to make this happen, and yeah, after a few seconds, once it kind of takes hold, it seems to calm things down quite a bit.
As soon as he starts calming down, I'll say, now that we have your attention, are you going to be good? Careful what you say, or you're going to get that again.
All right,
roll an intimidate check if you would like.
You hear just the passing of air up, through what's left of his throat, out of his mouth.
No.
That's what you get. You just get.
Nod if you agree.
What was that, Taylor? You kind of T-pained there for a second.
I said nod if you agree.
All right. He looks a bit confused for a second, but then nods.
Okay. I look at Trogdor. Any chance you can fix a little bit of this?
I'm furiously flipping through my calculations, trying to find out where I went wrong.
Okay.
Thank you, Maya. Your work here was great. It worked above and beyond what we expected.
Right. So, for the effects of restoration, it says it can fix a condition. It can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned. What about mute?
I feel like you would fall under the same situation as blinded.
And pretty much restore a sense. Would it?
We've muted him.
Yeah.
Let's see.
He has the disease of
that's-
can't talk.
Yeah, that's lesser restoration. You said.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. So here's kind of the deal. Generally, regeneration of entire body parts or something akin to that is outside the scope of lesser restoration. But I'll let you roll for it.
If he was screaming, then he still has some vocal cords.
He stopped screaming partway through.
Oh no. I feel so bad.
So I would let you roll for it. Either way, you would spend the spell slot and get a favorable roll. You're able to restore at least enough to where he can articulate words.
Alright. What do you want me to roll? D20?
Yeah.
I felt super bad.
All right. So yeah, you just it's kind of intimidating because this big 7-foot tall dragonborn places a hand on his throat, and he's just looking at you wide eyed as you take a grip on the throat, and then you can see the warm, glowing light of Bahamut begin to emanate from your palm, and kind of radiate out through this cultist's neck, and yeah, you feel like you've done a good bit of restoring here. So, what's next?
I asked him to try and talk a little bit to see if it worked.
He just goes, It would seem he's got at least some ability to speak.
Okay.
I'll say, well, that was fun, wasn't it? Just so we don't have to do that again. Cool.
I want to use that.
Okay.
Now that he's prepped, primed and prepped.
Yes. Continuing though, I'm trying to distract him, keep his attention. Now, I'll say, now that we've had our little fun, I think it's time that you tell us everything you know, or my friend over there, and I'll point over to Maya, might just slip her hand again.
Go ahead and make an intimidation check.
I really shouldn't be the one doing this, but
Saying, and if you try to yell, then you will never yell again.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll that again.
All right. Shit. It's my dump skill.
Well, shit. I'm good at deception.
It's intimidation.
Deception, intimidation.
So he just looks you square in the eye and says, "The worms will feast upon you all."
Well, I can
I
make
put
it
one.
happen sooner for you, and I'll walk over to Maya and pull out the jar with the worm in it.
Okay.
And I'll walk over just to his peripheral vision. And I would like to sleight a hand and make it look like I'm opening the jar, and I will put it up against his, side. Out of his eyesight.
Okay.
I'm not going to actually open the jar, I'm just going to have the jar with the top on it and just put it up against his side.
Okay. So what I will say for that is we're gonna get into kind of weird territory for a check.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So what you can do is, because technically this is still a form of intimidation,
Yeah.
but it is dependent on your sleight of hand. We can use the skill that sleight of hand is based on to modify your intimidation roll.
Okay. So I think Dex, so it'd be...
Yeah, so make an intimidation check and then add your Dex modifier.
So it'd be a +3 then.
Yeah.
Fuck! Alright. I quit!
You were
Wow.
just not
I just kind of resign, just sigh very heavily. And say, fuck,
As
I'm
you do
terrible
that,
at
he's
this.
just.
I want to push Togar out of the way with one hand and put my other hand on his throat again. But instead of casting the spell, I want to lift him up off the ground.
With the table?
Yes.
I just kind of cross my arms and step slightly back into his vision and say, I tried.
Go ahead and make an athletics check.
Oh, come on.
Do it. Yes!
All right. So with one hand, notably the opposite one that he used to heal this guy's throat, Trogdor walks over and scoops him up under the chin, table and all, and holds him a good 4 inches off the ground.
I just start laughing with my arms crossed.
And his eyes are wide, and you can see his face kind of beginning to turn red, if from nothing else, just the the strain on his neck and head. So what are you doing?
I will say, unless you want your neck to break from the strain of the table, I suggest you start talking instead of laughing.
There's this kind of sickly gurgle as you can feel his chest still moving as though to laugh, but he can't get anything out. So it's just
Around this time, I'm gonna walk over to, kind of shuffle over to Lilith and say, "Hey, you're good with words, right?"
I'm all right.
You're better than I am. You want to try talking to this jackass? He might be scared of, well, a drow.
If he's not scared of all the stuff that I've heard from down there, I don't know how much of a chance I stand.
Fair enough. So,
I admonished Togar for being racist.
you don't know. I walked upstairs.
She is dark-skinned and therefore scary.
Well, no, just
I'm
being a drow.
dark skinned too.
Maybe that's why you're sticking up for her. That's terrible. Anyway,
I will relieve her of her
Oh,
watch, and I will
gosh.
take her watch upstairs because I clearly this is not my forte. So I will let her go downstairs and see what she can do if she wants.
Okay. As an aside, you notice the raven has returned and is once again perched on her shoulder. Okay. So you're hanging out upstairs,
Yep. I'm better use up here than I am down there.
just fuming, staring out the window, and
More like like brooding about the fact that this is the one thing I can't fucking do right.
all right.
Still keeping watch.
Okay. As an aside, Togar, you can hear a faint, almost like kind of a rhythmic thumping sound, seemingly from somewhere outside the walls. It's barely audible, but you can certainly hear something.
Can I stealthily unlock the door and, like, the door going up and check on it?
Sure. I'd be willing to hand wave the lock thing. Yeah, you peek out, and you don't see anything. Well, I shouldn't say that. As you look out, it is daytime here in Drake's Landing. There's kind of that dull, diffused morning light that I talked about. There's one thing that seems a bit out of the ordinary from your limited experience here since whatever happened, and that is there are still undead creatures walking around.
Okay. Is it just around the area around us?
No, it looks just like when you arrived here. You can see the kind of sparse wandering undead out in the fields surrounding the city, and you can see a now reasonably spread out, pretty sizable quantity of them still shuffling about in the streets.
Can I figure out where the thudding was coming from?
Seems to be coming from the south, out of your view at this point, but it's the general direction that you all came in here from, like when you first arrived. So down the road to the south, out of town.
All right, I can't see anything from that direction, can I?
No.
Okay. I'll just kind of chill up there and kind of alternate between looking out, like outside the wall, and then coming over and looking out into the city. Just keeping watch on both sides.
Okay.
And seeing if I can see any like reason why there was a thudding.
And it's short, so it's hard to see you.
Yeah, I'm short, so.
All right. So back downstairs to the attempted interrogation. So what's next now that he's just chuckling through his strained neck?
Hey, I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Sadie is making apt noises. Can I ask him what the Worm King is doing here?
Sure. You just gonna ask him?
Yeah.
All right. He just chuckles a bit. By the way, is Trogdor still holding him up?
No, I'm gonna set him down.
Okay. So
It doesn't seem to be working.
all right. So thump, and he like kind of gasps for breath for a moment. And as Maya asks him that, he says, "Well, bringing about the age of worms, of course."
I'm in this particular city.
Remaking the world one city at a time.
So, no reason to start with this city? Or, are you just an underling and not important enough to know?
Go ahead and make a persuasion check. Okay.
We're real winners when it comes to charisma.
Oh. Maya's trying to act high and mighty, but she's not, so
Just
she's
start
not
mixing
doing
some acid again.
So in response to what you say, he just says, "We are all but worms."
I want to describe to him about what I had for the vision in my dream with the it was like at the door and the bones and stuff all over it.
Okay.
And I want to, after describing it to him, I want to ask him if he knows anything about that.
He just has this crazed smile on his face as you're describing it, but he doesn't seem to have anything to say about that.
If I were to use Divine Smite, could I, instead of hitting him with something to activate it, would I be able to, like, slowly rake one claw on my hand across his, like, thigh or something and sear his skin?
I mean, my punches are attacks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could allow this.
Like, I only want the smite damage in, like, the form of a sear instead of the actual hit as well. I want it to hurt.
Like taking a car battery. Electrocuting him.
To the nipples.
Yep.
Okay, that's the first
Medieval car battery to the nipples is Divine
Breathing.
Smite.
Okay. Well, again, if you're intentionally like not trying to get him to the point of passing out, I will allow it. But remember, you are chewing up slots here,
Yeah.
or uses, I should say. But okay. Uh,
That's Eric warning that we're about to get into another battle.
I didn't say that. Go ahead and let's call it an intimidation check with disadvantage because you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel here with something that he's already been through some pretty serious shit.
19.
About time.
Oh, the first one was a nat 20. Yeah.
All right. So it's probably not so much the radiant damage that you're dealing with this particular blow or scratch as it may be, but the clear signs now that you guys are not going to give up all that easily. And he says, and again, he starts everything off. He's the same, like, maniacally cackling cultist from the fight last night. And just see if you can make it through the caves.
Where are these caves located?
At the northern edge of the city. The mountain has spilled over into the walls, and that is from whence the undead walk every night.
Are they new undead every night, or?
No response. Well, I shouldn't say no response. Everything he does, he just laughs.
How long have you been practicing your evil cackle?
Evil cackling.
I want to take my thumb and my index finger on my right hand and slowly put it up to the corners of one of his eyes.
Okay.
And I want to slowly press in like I'm going to pop his eye out. If
Dead space in this shit. The eye drill.
All right. The eyes go wide, and he's visibly in pain. Like his face begins to turn red as you do this, and he just says, "Nothing you can do can surpass what the king will do to me if I give anything away."
there's not going to be anything left of you.
I mean, we could just kill you now. That's a good promise if you tell us what.
In response to what Trogdor said, he just says, "It doesn't matter. We're all just worms anyway."
Are other gods worms also?
Just more deranged chuckling.
Out goes his eye.
Oh.
Okay. There is a scream, but even as the
Very quiet scream.
I mean, he did a pretty good job healing his vocal cords, so it's a pretty loud one. There is a loud scream, and loud evil cackling just continues, even as the mess of a now destroyed eye just runs down his cheek.
Do I hear this? Like, can I hear him screaming?
Oh yeah.
Have I found out where I went wrong with my potion before?
You mixed up some of the ratios. Like the the components were correct, but where you thought it was like 1 to 3 might have actually been 3 to 1.
Can I try again? Now that I've figured that out.
Sure.
About this point, I would like to come back down, since I'm hearing just wild screaming.
Yeah, and so you come down to see a now one-eyed cultist with all manner of former eye running down his face.
Oh, I
Well.
couldn't like pop it out without breaking it.
Should be able to.
I mean, there's certainly like you're dealing with claws and scales here on a fleshy little eye.
Oh, okay.
I'll say, as I come down and see that, I'll cast my mage hand, put the wicked dagger in it, and hand it, cast it over to Trogdor and say, "Here, try this. This might work better."
Can I pour my new potion down his throat? Only a bit at a time.
Can you make a check for it?
What do you want?
Oh, that's right. I made the check last time, so I'll make the check again
Okay.
with advantage. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if you can, get in there past Trogdor, if he'll let you in, you can certainly do it.
Just say excuse me.
Yeah, I'll move aside.
And the guy dies.
Somebody might want to make an athletics check to see if you can hold him still enough to actually get this down his throat.
Oh, okay.
Trogdor's right there.
Say, Trogdor, would you mind?
14.
Let's see. Yeah, he tries to bite down on your scaly fingers, but it doesn't really do much. And yeah, you're able to like pry his jaw open.
in obviously faked laugh. Like I want to try and mock him and laugh like how he was.
Okay. All right. And even as the substance is being poured down his throat, he's still, as much as he can through the liquid, is just laughing like a maniac.
Just so he's like laughing because I'm laughing, and it's just getting worse and worse.
Practically hasn't stopped.
Oh jeez.
But as the liquid flows down his throat, the laugh does begin to subside, and eventually it dies down to not even a stage whisper.
I just think of like a mime screaming and everything, but there's no sound. It's just the emotion on the face.
I mean, there is still a little bit of sound, but even you imagine even if you were to try and scream or cackle, you wouldn't get much more than.
There. I fixed it.
All right. So, what's next?
I turn towards Tokar, but like we should probably see about getting these people out of here.
There's a slight problem with that. That's actually why I came down. The zombies didn't go away. They are still out there.
That is a problem.
Yeah, and
You just hear, "They'll find you."
would you shut the hell up? And at this point, I'm gonna throw a dagger at his kneecap.
Okay. All right. So he
I would like to like aim for it to be like slide under his kneecap, so that it causes immense pain.
Okay. Yeah. So you do that, and he immediately passes out from the shock.
I'll say, Trogdor, can you make sure he doesn't die? And I look back to Maya and say, sorry, that guy's pissing me off.
But yeah, we should probably move these people at least to the next guardhouse or something.
I agree. I look over to Trevor, who we've had communication with before.
Yep.
And I'll say, hey Trevor, are you able to move at least somewhat stealthily?
Somewhat.
You think you could get the rest of these people to someplace at least safer than this? As you can see, we've got something to deal with here.
Yeah, he says, well, if we keep low and travel along the top of the wall, we should be able to stay out of sight.
Alright, if you guys follow me, I'll show you a way out to get up to the top of the wall. And I'll lead them up to the top and open the door.
Okay.
I will heal for 1 point and lay hands to the guy's eye socket, and then we'll pull out the dagger and do one again on his knee.
As I walk away, the dagger just disappears from his wound.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, just enough to stop the various fluids flowing out. Yeah, he's patched up and conscious and stable, but looking really rough.
I want to ask him, are you going to help us out or not?
What?
There is a brief pause as he looks as though he's about to start laughing again. And then just looks Trogdor square in the eye and spits at you.
I let out a sigh and then One tear rolls down my cheek.
Is
Okay.
he restrained?
Yeah, he is.
So would that be with advantage?
Technically, yeah.
That didn't help.
Damn it, Trogdor.
I'd say you don't really need to worry about it, though.
So what did I miss?
This guy's a dick.
Gruesome torture, basically.
Yeah, dagger to the kneecap, that kind of shit.
Popped eyeball.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay. And so you do that, and I assume you're not trying to keep him stable anymore?
No, I was trying to just finish him off, put him out of his misery.
Geiger watermelon style.
Yeah, so there's this nasty, like, wet crunch as you essentially cave in the left side of this guy's face.
Let me know when I start heading back down, because I would like to just show them up to the top of the thing and then start heading back down.
That's easy enough. So you're all back together. The civilians are making their way across the top of the wall. The undead are walking around both inside and outside, even though it's morning. And there is a rhythmic thumping sound coming from somewhere outside the walls beyond your field of view.
Does anybody know how to talk to this jackass from the dead? I look pointedly at Trogdor.
I do not.
Right. So I kind of walk over behind, like, because the table's still on its end up, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll walk behind and just push the table over so that his body just kind of flops over and smashes onto the floor. I'll say, "Fucking asshole! All you had to do was be cooperative." Well, yeah, the undead are still at large. There's some thumping thing going on, and I'll kind of gesture in the direction. I don't know what that is, but that probably is cause for alarm.
Also worth noting at this point, Trogdor,
Mm-hmm.
you feel something that you cannot remember experiencing since before you took your vows as a paladin.
Oh.
The original dreams from when I first took off on my adventure.
Even before that. For the first time in several years, you feel disconnected from Bahamut.
Ooh. Well, I will say, I'll look at Maya and say, do you want to... You think I should go check the thumping out?
Where's the thumping coming from? Like, what direction?
I will kind of like point in the direction of towards where it is. Say that general direction, but I can't see it.
It's outside the walls, beyond your field of view, to the south, like down the road that you came into town on.
That probably is something that should get checked out. That's coming from.
I mean, I can go
South.
invisibly if you would like, and check it out, but
I mean, as long as you do it safely, I don't want to get you caught out there without help. So maybe if you don't leave our, I guess, eyesight off
Well,
of this tower.
being invisible kind of makes me essentially leave your eyesight. But
Yeah, but I mean, you can drop it
I mean,
if you need help.
yeah, I'm pretty quick, and I tend to have a little bit of, I have ways to get out of sticky situations if need be.
Okay, well, we should, tell the others.
Well, they're all standing around, I would assume.
Yeah,
Right.
they're probably all
Okay.
within earshot of this conversation.
I kind of look around the group. Anybody object to me going out? I look to Lilith and say, well, I guess you can have your raven kind of follow if you want.
How far is that? 100 feet or something? That she can command it, or...
I mean, she can go up to the top and wait and watch, and then see through the raven and kind of watch the area.
Yeah, at least the immediate surroundings. So yeah, I mean, she'll certainly do that.
All right. And I'll say, well, let me see how far I can get. If I get into trouble, then I will go invisible. But let me see how far I can get without wasting a spell.
Okay.
If you would like, Maya, I do have a rope up top, coiled up, that you could easily get down.
Okay, if I need to, I will keep that in mind.
I'll look to Trogdor and say, you lock the door when I leave, so nothing else gets in.
I mean, we could
Trogdor
lock the door
just
in the bottom and just watch on top of the... Just kind of lay on top of the wall and watch.
Well, yeah, but I want you guys to lock the door when I leave so you don't get ambushed.
What were you saying, Brown?
Yeah.
I was just saying, Trogdor just blankly staring towards the ground, no response.
Trogdor, you okay?
No response.
I look at Maya. Did he get any of that in his mouth?
Get any of what?
Whatever you dumped down that jackass's throat.
Oh, he spit on him. But I have some herbs to help.
Can you make sure he's okay?
Trogdor, are you okay?
Fine, okay.
Oh, what's wrong?
After torturing that guy and finishing him off, I had lost my connection to Bahamut. As of now, I'm no longer a paladin.
Why do you think that is?
What?
Why do you think you lost the connection?
I know why I lost it.
You don't know why?
I said I do know.
Oh. Well then, why did you do it?
We were desperate.
Can you ask for forgiveness?
I don't think it'll be as simple as that.
What does this mean?
Well, as of now, I'm powerless.
What do you think you'll need to do?
I pull out my stone and hand it to him. Can you cast light on this?
Mechanically speaking, just so you know, Brown, it means any of your spells, cantrips, or other, basically any class ability is not available.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mean to torture him. I just accidentally made my potion wrong.
Well, I meant to torture him. He's an asshole. He's caused this. Him and all those fucking jackasses out over at the castle. They caused all of this. Look at all the suffering and the pain that they've caused. I looked at Trogdor. I'm not sure what Bahamut's issue was with you killing this person. He deserved to die. And
It was
had
the
you
way
not,
I did it.
well, had you not done it, I was going to finish him off when I came back down anyway. Don't let this deter you from your course and from our course. So, should you so choose to continue, you are doing the right thing. This piece of shit was going to die, regardless of whether you did it, or I did it, or Maya did it, or anybody. He was going to die. If Bahamut can't see that, if Bahamut can't see that you were doing the world a service, then maybe Bahamut's not the deity for you. And with that, I'll turn, unlock the door, and walk out. And shut the door.
I turn towards Trogdor and I'll ask him, is there anything I can do or that we need to do?
I'm not entirely sure.
I guess right now should keep track of Togar and make sure he doesn't get hurt.
I guess once I get outside, I'll stealth.
You kind of cut out there. What was that?
I said once I get outside, I'll stealth.
Okay. I will go ahead and make that check.
Okay.
Cool. So you said you were going to not spend a spell, so you're just not going invisible but trying to stealth, correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to sneak my way through, and if I come into any danger, like if I'm gonna keep my head on a swivel, and if I see anything notice me, I'm going invisible.
Okay.
So.
All right. So yeah, and then exactly how, like, are you going down the wall? Or are you just kind of peeking around from, like, what, you know?
Oh, I went out.
specifically what
I
you're
walked
doing?
out the door. Like I unlocked the door, and I'm gonna.
Oh,
walk around the wall.
the bottom floor door.
Yes.
So you're gonna walk around the inside of the wall.
Yes. I'm gonna try to sneak around the inside of the wall
Okay.
to get to the entranceway to the inner, from the inner to the outer city, outside the city.
Gotcha. So you're looking for like a city gate, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you make your way around the walls, and best you can tell, you've not been spotted by anything. The undead are all still very much there, very much wandering around. Probably a bit more concentrated in this area than they were last night, just as they've kind of dispersed now more evenly through the city.
Okay.
But you do eventually find yourself at City Gate, probably 4 or 5 blocks down from the tower.
That's fine. I'm confident in my abilities, so.
Okay. The gate is partially open. One of the 2 heavy metal doors swung about a third of the way open.
Can I fit through?
Yeah, no problem.
I'm gonna kind of peek around it just to make sure there's nothing waiting on the other side of the door or anything like that. But, you know,
Okay.
if there's nothing there, I'll sneak through and.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's anything waiting there. I mean, there are still, zombies walking around.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it's not
nothing
like
that
anything
notices
is posted on watch or anything, if that's what you're getting at.
me. And nothing noticing me.
It doesn't seem like it.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I'll just try to pick my way around and stick to whatever I can find of shadows or anything like that.
Okay.
At one point, I will look back to where that tower was that we were staying at and see if I see anybody on the wall.
Okay. Go
I'm trying
ahead.
to not be seen at the top of the wall. So I guess I'm trying to be stealthy.
Okay. So I'll make a check for you on that as well.
Okay.
So I just made the stealth check for Maya, and then Togar, you can go ahead and make a perception check by yourself there.
Okay. Nope.
No, you don't see anything over there.
All right. I'll just assume that they are watching.
Okay.
And I will continue stealthing towards the noise.
Okay. Let me see here.
Now, was it in the
So-
forest outside of the road, or is it
It
just
was
on the road?
just directionally speaking, it seemed to be coming from down the road, but you couldn't see, so it's hard to pinpoint. Maya, you said, were you keeping an eye out?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you can see Togar as he is kind of creeping his way out the city gate.
Okay. Does he look like he's in any danger so far?
No, nothing seems to be paying him any mind.
Okay. I will keep watching him.
Okay. And so how far would Togar like to push?
As far as it takes for me to see what the hell that thumping noise is.
Okay. So for that, I mean, you have to make your way all the way across the fields around the city, and basically to the point that you all had converged at as you were about to make your sprint for the walls on the way in.
So I'm across the field, like on the edge of the... What is it? Is there like a woods there?
Yeah, so the road goes to the south, and along the eastern side of the road, which is your left as you're leaving the city, there's woods. On the right is just kind of gentle rolling hills, and eventually you can see over to the coast.
Yeah, I'll make my way straight across the field to the woods and try to kind of, I guess, hide in the wooded area
Okay.
and kind of make my way around, because you said it's to the south, right?
Yes.
So I'll make my way to the wooded area and then make my way south until I can see what is going on.
Okay. Let's see here.
Kind of moving from tree to tree as stuff, like, hiding behind tree
Mhm.
to tree.
Okay. So you do that, and you seem to be pretty silently traversing the woods. And after you've traveled a bit, kind of along the, just inside the tree line, maintaining your cover, but also maintaining a view of the outside, you can see what looks like a column of troops marching up the road.
are they like? They're not zombie troops, are they?
If they're zombies, they're certainly the most coordinated zombies you've ever seen. They seem to be in lockstep, marching toward Drake's Landing.
All right, I'm gonna get closer and see if I can hear any orders, hear any, anything other than just seeing them marching. I'm gonna stay hidden if I possibly can, but I just want to get a little closer to see if I can hear anything.
Okay.
Just very carefully creeping forward.
All right. I mean, apart from the constant rhythmic thumping of footfalls on the road, you don't hear anything else. No commands being barked out, nothing like that. As they grow closer, you can see that they all look to be human, or at least half human. There may be some half elves mixed in the group, but yes, and all of them outfitted in matching armor. A single helmeted figure leading the way atop a large white speckled horse.
Any city symbol or town symbol or anything like that?
Let's see what you notice.
Looking at shields or anything like that, see if there's any symbol emblazoned upon the shield.
Yeah, so you would recognize a lot of this gear. You possibly may have made some of it. It is, it bears the symbol of the Empire of Akarant. And you gather, based on that these are troops that were probably dispatched from the capital, Ramsgate, and have been sent here on a mission. And, well, you can probably put two and two together as far as that goes.
All right, I'm going to, again, still somewhat stealthily, but hurriedly, is there a lot of troops, or is it just, one battalion of troops?
It looks like one battalion.
All right, yeah, I'm going to kind of hurriedly, but stealthily making sure that none of these zombies notice me. Stealthily kind of make my way beeline to what looks to be the de facto leader of this battalion. Okay. I'm not going to run up out of the woods onto him, but I'm going to, essentially I'm going to attempt to kind of get behind him, and once I'm behind him, I'm going to just kind of say, hey, psst, hey, and try to get the attention of somebody.
Okay. Over the loud thumping of footfalls, it's hard to get anybody's attention with a whisper.
Well, yeah, I mean, then I'll do what I can to get their attention without attracting zombies.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, I would say you're able to kind of barely kind of stick yourself out from the tree line and flag them down. And when the armored figure on the horse finally notices you, he just holds up a hand, and you hear a number of officers behind him just yell, "Halt!"
I'll hold up my hands just in a, not really a surrender, but kind of like a, I mean no harm, and walk out and say, if you guys are trying to push into the city, you might want to plan a little bit first. There's a lot of undead in there.
The figure on the horse just rides the steed up to you a little bit and looks down at you and says, "I mean no offense, dwarf, but we've seen our fair share of battle."
I mean no offense, but... And I look around. How many men are there?
Let's see.
Just a rough estimate.
Yeah, looks like about 700 men.
Holy shit. I'll say, I mean no offense, but if you haven't faced a thing called a Mind Flayer, you guys might be outmatched.
At this point, you hear kind of mutterings among the troops.
And
Mind Flayer? What?
I'll look to the captain and say, "Is there a place we can talk in private? Just for a minute. I mean, we can. I just don't want to unsettle the troops."
Can I still see Togar?
Oh, no, you can't.
Okay.
He looks at you, still a bit suspicious, and says, "Well, I would prefer to bring a couple of my closest and most trusted officers with me as..."
By all means. I just want to inform you of what we know. I personally have been within the city, have seen some terrible things going on in the city, and I would rather let you know now before you get into the city and discover the horrors for yourself.
Very well. He looks at a couple of the soldiers who had been barking the orders behind him, gestures for them to kind of close the distance, and continues on for probably another 10, 20 feet, putting a good space between you and the majority of the troops.
Yeah. I will just slowly pull like my weapons off and just drop them to the ground and say, "I mean you no harm. I just, again, I wanted to give you a forewarning. I have a small group of friends that are back at the wall that we've made camp there. And then I take it we're in a little small, like a little more privacy."
I mean, it's not so much that you're like visually separated from the rest of the troops as
No,
you're just
but
further
audibly.
down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're far enough away that you could speak at like a normal tone of voice, and they probably wouldn't hear you.
Okay. And I'll say, I know for sure that at least there is one Mind Flayer working for whoever is in that castle. I can also tell you it is, without a doubt, of either Orcus or one moment while I scroll through my stuff to see who the hell the name was. I think it was Yormorn, but Caius. He.
Let's see what the captain knows about Caius. Oh wait.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Blank look. He has no idea what you're talking about.
I'll say he was. He's a follower of Orcus. You know those zombies that you inevitably have encountered along the way here? All the worms coming out of them?
He nods.
Yeah. I would not let those worms sit in you for too long. I don't know what happens, but it's not good.
Yes, we've already lost a handful of men to the worms.
When you say lost, did you leave them?
We learned to.
They've probably joined the ranks of the undead then.
No.
These
Before
worms-
we put an end to them, put them to their final rest, yes.
Okay, so you know about the worms. Good. There is, to the north, a castle inside of Drake's Landing that has appeared, and that is where the undead come from every night and go to every morning, it seems, except for today. And I will warn you, your marching has been noticed. Not just by me, but by, no undead, but I would say definitely try to quiet it down a little bit, just for ease of access to the city. I understand you have quite a battalion here, but no sense in losing men over something that could be, stopped. The other thing is there are civilians still in the city. They've been working as essentially slaves to other humanoid figures. Some human, some... Was the one chick a half-elf?
Yeah.
Okay. Some human, some elven or half-elven. They appear to be a part of the cult of Orcus. And through Orcus's power, have brought about what they would call the Age of Worms. And just for simplicity's sake, I tell him all about everything that we have discovered about Caius and about all that.
Okay.
And that I believe Caius has returned. He was trapped. He was trapped in a stone tablet, right?
Yeah, like a large monolithic stone structure, like larger than, say, the tablet that you've been carrying around.
Yeah, I'll say he was trapped in a stone tablet, and I believe my friends and myself have stumbled upon that in a cave that was also to the north, wasn't it?
No.
Yes, it was like the northwest.
Okay. I believe that some follower has found that tablet or that monolithic structure and has freed Caius. If so, he is a quite powerful necromancer. He was once the most powerful necromancer in all of Astion. So if he has been freed, you're dealing with a very, very powerful necromancer.
Yeah, he kind of nods upon the the info dump that he's just received,
Yeah.
and says, "Well, I certainly do appreciate the intelligence report that you've been able to provide. That will certainly inform our advance, but we do have a job to do, and we will not do anything less than reclaim this place for the kingdom."
If I may ask, how fares the rest of the kingdom? How fares Perrin? How fares all of the cities south of this? I have heard reports from a reliable source, a friend of mine actually, that everything from pretty much north of Strassa to the north here has been compromised in one way or another.
He tells you that, to his knowledge, the epicenter of this whole thing is Drake's Landing, and that the further away from it you go to the south, the more sparse the undead become, to the point that they don't seem to have reached any other settlements in any significant capacity.
So he notices Togar just breathe a huge sigh of relief in hearing this. Well, that's good. I will let you know that if you guys do encounter a werewolf or a wolf of some sort using what appears to be bloody wings or blood wings, he is
His eyes go wide.
he is actually an ally, at least of my own. By the way, my name is Togar Hammerstriker of Thogladar.
And he stretches out a hand in like the clasp your wrist kind of way, the soldier handshake, and says,
I'll step forward.
"And I am Captain Strelbath Leafbane."
Can you spell that?
I can.
Thank you.
Even Eric is incapable of spelling it.
Alright. Sweet. Alright,
Does he go around cutting down trees?
yeah. I'll say, well met, Captain. You may have, possibly heard. Are you of, Ramsgate? I notice the emblem on your armor seems to indicate such.
Indeed, I am. Myself and the rest of the 3rd Battalion are based there.
One moment while I scroll up. Do you know Count Magnus Ravendal? I count him as a friend.
I do not know him personally, but I am, of course, well aware of him.
Okay. I do count him as a friend, so I am a friend of the Kingdom of Ramsgate. So, I know his daughter. I've met him. But one thing I will warn you of is there are also these horrific, evil-looking, very long-faced, I describe a Bodak.
Right.
Beware of those. They can cripple an entire group, an entire battalion, with nigh but a look. So, just be warned, if you see those, they are very, very dangerous.
Oh, thank you again for the advanced intelligence.
Any help with reclaiming Drake's Landing is greatly appreciated. I will also mention among my party, we do have a drow elf. She is, as far as I can tell, she is not of the same wheel as most of the dark elves I have been told about. So, I just wanted to let you know so that your men do not attack her and kill her, as she is a very valuable ally.
Duly noted. As it pertains to reclaiming the city, you say that this castle appeared on the mountainside north of the city itself. It would seem to me that perhaps the source of this problem might be living or residing, I suppose, there.
Togar nods. I believe so. My friends and I are having a bit of trouble navigating the city due to the hordes of undead. What I would request just from your troops, since you guys do have the numbers, if you could help in trying to reclaim the city, my friends and I can push to the castle and try to stop this. But it's just moving around the city has been extremely hard.
Well, that is certainly something that we can assist with. We will attack the city, or what's left of it, head on. And if memory serves, there is a single road that leads from the nearest gate all the way to the northernmost reaches of the city. We will fight our way through that, and in doing so, hopefully create enough of a distraction for you and your companions to breach the castle. And as we fight our way through the undead behind you, we will eventually reconnoiter with you there. And do what we can or what needs to be done to reclaim the city in its entirety.
Okay. And I will go on just to list off all of the people that are in the party with us.
Okay.
Describing them and say, these are all allies, these are all, friends of mine, adventurers of mine. We've been through a lot together. So, if I happen to fall in battle, I am going to inform them that you guys are, of what your goal is. So, any one of them does come up or approach the group, they are allies of mine, and they, hold any new information. They will gladly let you know.
Duly noted.
Um,
So, is there anything else that you'd like to do while you're here conversing with the captain?
No, other than that, I'll just say, well, I believe I must take my leave. Oh, one other thing. If you have any of the, godly order here, I believe that if anyone here gets infected with one of those worms, a simple spell of, I don't know, it removes some form of disease, will remove the worms in their entirety. That is what my party has discovered. So,
That is good to know.
yes, it prevents you from having to lose more men if, possible.
Indeed.
So, I will, I'm going to head back out through the trees and try to rejoin with my group. And I will let them know that you and your battalion have come and are aiding us in our endeavor. So we will make sure that if we do see any in need of help that are of your order, of your battalion, we will do what we can to aid them.
Excellent. Well, I hope to see you inside that castle as we reclaim what is rightfully ours.
I take a, very cordial bow. Like, I'm used to working with, higher up military guys.
Mm-hmm.
Cordial bow and say, strength be with you, Captain Strelbath Leafbane, and may our paths cross again. And I will turn and walk away, leaving my weapons on the ground, and after about 5 or so seconds, all of them disappear off the ground as I retreat back into the forest and sneak my way back to the group.
Okay. And I already rolled you a stealth check, and with that, you are able to stealthily make your way back to the group.
All right. Once I get back to the group, I'll open the door, shut it, lock it, and say, there are 700 fucking soldiers out there ready to take this city back.
Brief pause. Is there
Yes.
anything that anyone else in the group would have been doing over that time?
Sobbing.
Noted.
Eating a
Mara
star fruit.
tries to comfort him.
Okay. All right. So,
Besides keeping a sharp watch out for Togar.
okay, and yes, you do see him sneaking his way back across the fields and eventually rejoining you guys. So, we pick it up as he walks in and says, "There's 700 fucking soldiers out there."
They're looking to march on Drake's Landing and reclaim Drake's Landing.
Do you know when they plan to do it?
Right now. I told him that we will take the castle, but they are going to try to clear the streets of all the undead as they can and hold a position so that we have something to fall back to should, well, shit hit the fan. At this point, I notice Trogdor sobbing. I say, what's wrong with him?
The same as when you left.
Oh. Well,
Maya also has her arm around Dr- much like when she comforted Miles.
Okay.
but we do have forces moving in through the city, so if we can, I did tell him if we do notice any of his soldiers in distress or having issues, to, that we would try to intervene and help as best as we can. On a positive note, it looks like this issue of the undead has not spread as far as I initially thought.
How far does it go?
It's Drake's Landing and the outskirts of Drake's Landing. The farther out you get, the less and less the zombies get. It hasn't spread to Perrin. It hasn't spread to any other town as of yet.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yes. I also informed him about the stone and about Caius.
Okay.
So I made sure to tell him everything that we know, because anything that could save a potential ally of ours is of great help.
Okay.
So,
I want to turn to Togar and say, turn to Trogdor and say, you had that vision, right? Of those caves that we know are to the north. It looks like we'll be able to reach that, and maybe that will help with repairing your relationship with Bahamut.
One can hope.
I'm just trying to make Trogdor feel better.
I look at Trogdor and say, well, look at it as repairing your relationship with some members of our group, and I kind of glance over at Bungdo, as well as repairing relationships with your deity. I do believe that this is all of our calling, including yours, Trogdor. And if Bahamut is half the deity that you have proclaimed, then Bahamut will see that you are fighting for the good of all of the races on Astian, and may potentially shine favor upon you. So, don't give up. Don't give up hope. I've been there, where you lose everything. We're here. We're with you. We'll get through this together. And I'll walk over and clasp a hand on his armored shoulder and say, you guys were there for me when we discovered my brother's killer. You guys have been there through all of my trials and tribulations. I'll be a poor friend indeed to not stand through there with you through all of your trials and tribulations. Though your God has left you, your friends have not. And I'll just kind of look into his eyes and, kind of give a affirming, just kind of like a friendly nod.
Stand up and I wipe off my cheek. And I will pull the flail out instead.
Right back.
Okay.
Feeling not entirely worthy to wield the mace at the moment.
Okay. So, before too long, the constant rhythmic thumping of the march grows louder and louder to the point where you can actually make out the sounds of metal hitting metal as the troops progress toward the outskirts of the field. What else are you guys doing in preparation for whatever's about to go down?
I look to Maya. You think we should assist them in at least getting their foothold into the city?
Well, I think we'll need everything we get just to fight our way from here on.
Oh, I know, but once we can get them into the city, they can help us clear and create a safe haven for, well, us and all of the refugees that have been freed.
Yeah. I mean, anything we could do to help them get through the choke points of the city doors.
I look from Maya to Bungdo to Lilith to Trogdor, say, this has fallen on us, and we have to do what we can do. So, and I'll just kind of put my hand in like your, generic 80s movie.
Full on football huddle?
Yes, basically.
Okay.
I have no idea what to do with that.
I kind of glance at my hand and say, put your hand in.
I put my hand towards his hand.
I look over to Trogdor. What do you say, big fella?
I guiltily look down at the corpse and then back over to Togar and put my hand back in.
I look to Lilith. You're in it with us this time.
Yeah, and Bungdo, as they are now both AFK.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, I think they're both willing.
Alright. Let's see. Well, as a team then, I'll break the huddle, essentially.
Okay. And I think that would probably be a good place to leave off for tonight.